quite stuck. So we discussed on the
Before start, Suraj, I saw there is a Aura Aura folder like LWC. What is inside in it?
Aura component, lightning Aura component, lightning component or Aura component. These are the Aura components.
Thank you. So we can we use in the same project Aura component and LWC?
Yeah, we can create anything from the whatever we are creating inside the sulfurs. That thing you can create from here too.
So one of the component with LWC, one of the component from Aura. One of the component we can create LWC and it can be the same UI.
Yeah, it can be same UI.
Okay.
Question, Suraj, why do we doing this? Like working two different tools at the same time, LWC and Aura? What's the point of doing same UI, two different?
Some of them are old probably. We didn't.
Yeah, Aura is old. Aura is slowly they are depreciating.
Okay, but again, like when you start from the scratch, you don't use both. Of course, you just pick LWC probably, right?
Yeah. If you're starting from the scratch, then you will pick the LWC. But might be there is case that something is already built in Aura, and you have to still work. Then you have to work on the Aura. If you got some requirement that is already present in Aura, then I don't. Then there is a two option comes up. Either you continue work on that Aura, or you can build LWC and use that LWC inside the Aura.
Okay, yeah, it's allowed us to do that. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, let's see about the LDS is the same thing. So just like the record form, as we have seen that earlier, that we have a record form, but we haven't discussed too much about that. So let's discuss on that. For that, let's create a new component. So create a Lightning Web component and Okay, I created my LDS Java component. Once I created a LDS example component, that folder comes up here. So first I need to work on the metadata XML. Meta XML. In that meta XML, I need to make it available on the pages. So I will just copy this thing. And will paste up in my here. And change the first level is LDS. Okay. Now I save it, saved, and deploy it. Now in this form, let's work with the record edit form, and in the record edit form, let's work with the predefined fields. So let's do some other things. There's some standard ways to get the field values and field names. So there is a one more way. There is a way to get the field names via schema API. And we can use the schema to get the field name from any of the objects. So let's try that. Just like here, in here we are using we just importing the field name, nothing else. It's a field name, and we are getting the field name from schema. We already know that in the schema has everything, and every metadata configuration present in the schema. Schema is always used to get the metadata configuration. Since it is its account is also kind of a metadata, so we can get the anything. We can get the information from the metadata configuration, and means we can get the account name field via the schema. So I'm just getting the account name field via the schema, and now I'm going to use that name field. So for using the name field, just like the similar that as we have learned that the recorded form accept the field values in the form of array. So we're just creating a field values in the form of array and use that field value inside our recorded form, so that it will show only those fields which are mentioned up here. Means it show only those fields which are mentioned in the array. If I don't mention the fields, then it will show all the columns. So it will show all the fields that are available on the object which we will mention. But right now it's for the account, so it's showing account. If you mention the contact, then it will show the contact, and else it will show, if you mention the fields, then it will show only those fields which is designed for. So let's use that. Let's first design the okay. Now go to its JS file. Let's close the other one. It's meta XML. It's HTML. In the HTML, I will paste the files. Okay, it's asking for the record ID, object API name, fields, and handle submit. So we don't have record ID. So let's remove this, and we have object API name. So let's create a variable called object API name, and here we can come up and create an object API name. and we can also have an option to fields and then define an event on submit event. On submit event we can show toast. Right now we're just changing the last name.
Suraj, when we think of MVC pattern, can we say HTML is the view, the controller is the JavaScript template, JavaScript class or file, and metadata is going to be module? Because
Yeah, correct.
okay.
Okay, let's deploy this. LTS example component. You can see what where we are putting up here. Yeah, that's shown up here, the same name. So let's put up here, save it. Back. So you can see that it's showing that field name. It's showing what are with the names that we have added up here. Account first name, last account names. So account field names are we are adding. So these are automatically showing up here. And if we hit the save button, it will automatically get saved. So it got saved. And if I go to the account, I think this one, yeah, this one. Okay, this one is created. So similar, it's just the same thing that we have learned earlier. Just only the syntax is changing. You know that we have done the same thing in the Aura component, doing the same thing up here. Only the something is changes in that in the Aura component. We are also passing the field names in the same way, just like we are passing the field names up here. Here we have this is a feature provided by the LWC. This is not available in the Aura component. This feature is an feature provided by the LWC that we can get the field names on the schema, but this is not a thing that we can do only this way. We can just or we can just copy comment it and write own field names. It's no issue with that. Suppose I write the name, it worked fine. I write the, I think, revenue. Might be API name, I need to check. I think it's annual revenue or revenue, I don't know, but yeah, you can see it's working fine for both cases. Both cases it's working fine. Means it's just giving a field name. So it's not either we just use this method or we directly use this method. Means directly hard code names you can paste up here. It's okay, you can do anything. But the only thing is that why we are doing this thing. Only the thing is that suppose I'm working with this I'm working with the field name, and might be due to some requirement I change the field name in the database. So at what it happens that I need to also change in the LWC component if I use this hard coded thing. So at that moment I also need to change it LWC component. But if I use the schema thing, then I don't need to change at any places. It automatically get affected if I change it in the database, that it automatically get affected up here. So this is the important thing, that this is the thing that we advantage if you use the schema. Else there is nothing means nothing much difference make it will using the hard code values or getting from the schema. There's nothing more difference it's making. It's only a thing is that it becomes more dynamic if we are using a schema. A schema is just, if we are using the schema, then it will become more dynamic, and which means that which means that we can easily we can, if someone change, if some field attributes get changed inside the Salesforce, it will automatically get reflected up here. And why they had designed this thing, the issue is that if I suppose if it is present in the Apex controller, and in Apex controller we are using the account field name, yeah, in a hard code way or something way, that means we are using the account field name and we are trying to change that field name inside the database, then it Salesforce throw an error that you are changing the field name which is used in Apex class. At that moment Salesforce throws an error, so it's okay. So we have to just first change the Apex classes, then move to the, then we have to change the uh, schema name. But in the LDS, it does not throw any error. It will not throw any error. If you go, if suppose I put annual revenue up here or any custom field name up here and go to the database and change the custom field name, then it will not throw an error. So that's to, in order to make it more dynamic and make it more efficient, what we have to do, we just use the schema. So if we use the schema, then we have to make changes at one place, and at every place the changes will got reflected. So this is the way that how the things are working. Means we just have to make it more if you want to make it more dynamic, just use the schema field. So schema thing, and it will get the dynamically, it will fetch out the dynamically API names and push up here, so that our LDS will work properly without any issue. So in the LDS, we have a few more things just like that. We can handle success. We already talked about the toast event, so no issue in that. We have record edit form and record view form. And it is used only when, since it is, suppose in the record form, you can see that you can see that it automatically give the save and cancel button. Suppose I don't want to this save and cancel button, and want to customize our own save and cancel button. At that moment, means if I want to do some customization in this layout, then we have to use the record edit form and record view form. Apart from, there is no need to use the record edit form and record view form. Only when it is used, only when we have to do some customization. Okay, so whenever we have to do customization, then we have to use the record edit form or record view form. Else we don't need to use the record edit form and record view form. It's automatically provides such a functionality that we can do save, insert, update, and create things just like that. If I pass the ID, you remember that thing, if you pass the ID in the record ID, if you pass the ID, it automatically displays the field values. Let's see Yeah, you can see it's showing that values coming up from here, and it's totally depend on the mode. If you change the mode, it will do the same thing. If you change in edit, it's change in view, then it will show in a view for mode. If it shows in choose edit, then it will choose the edit mode. And if you pass the ID, then it will update the record. If you don't pass the ID, then it will insert the record. That's the same concept that we have learned, nothing more. And record view form and a record edit form, it's only used whenever we need to do customization. So let's take a quick look over there. Okay, this one. Okay, name is contact, first name, last name. Okay, you can see it's showing that whatever the field we are added up here, it's showing up here, but that changes background is coming up blue. Let's make it white. And for making it white, you know that we just need to use the lightning card. Okay, now it's showing. We haven't passed it, but it shows. Yeah, you can see that whenever I hit the means the name I haven't changed it, but the thing is that if we don't pass the ID, it will create that what the name I should write, new create. Let me check. New create, it should create the last name is agent. What is that? Yeah, it's creating that record whenever I hit the update. It's why it's happening, because don't confuse with the name, because it's a property that if I pass the ID, then after it will update the record. If you don't pass the ID, what will we do? That it will just insert the record. This concept is always same. Either we use the record form or record edit form. The concept is still same, that if you pass the record ID, then it will update the record. If you don't pass the record ID, then it will delete the record, or sorry, it will insert the record. Apart from that, we have these things that we have input and output fields that are used only inside the recorded form. That we have an output field and input field, and this is only used inside the recorded form. Apart from that, it will not used at any place. Okay, and whenever we are using the input form or output field, what it will do, that it will apply all the permissions that the current user have. Suppose the current user does not have permission to view this field name, so the automatically the field name get hidden from this UI. So whenever we are using input field at any place, either LWC, either on the Aura, or either on the Apex, either on the VF page, at any place, if we use the input field or output field, means field is important. If we use the input field or output field, then it will include all the permissions along with side. If that field is required, then it automatically that will become required for that particular page and particular layout. If it that field have some permission that current user cannot have able to access that field, that permission is also applied over that field. So whenever you are using the input field at any place, means either in the Aura, either in the LWC, or on the VF page, all three views that present in the Salesforce, all of them have the input field. That's the thing, and all of them have the same. All of the input field have the same property, that it will include all the permissions, all the required thing. Or if the input field is required, then it automatically become required, and it will automatically also inherit the permissions from the Salesforce. So for that, we can use that input field, and its behavior, just like if you use the record edit form or a record view form, the behavior is still same. If you pass the ID, then it will update the record. If you don't pass the ID, it will if you don't pass the ID, then it will insert that record. So let's bind this component on the on the account detail page. Okay, let's bind this component on the account detail page, and we can see that update account records, contact records. We will update the contact records and account records at the same moment. So let's have a look. So for using this component on the account detail page, let's first add that on the account detail page. Let's open any account and add this component on the account detail page. You have to do just give the edit page, and you can see that LD's example component is showing up here. I just drag and drop the component. Okay, drag and drop the component and save it. Hit back. It's showing some data. Let me check. I think it's not getting from the current. Let me open this. So you can see it's showing the only the ID that because the ID is hard coded, so that's why it's showing the ID is related to that it's showing the values related to that ID. Let's make it more dynamic. As I show that @API is used to get the values from the parent component. Okay, so so we will take a help of that @API field and get the record ID from the, because we are, remember, we are dropping that component into this detail page. So detail page have the property, means detail page record will become the parent, and our component will become a child for that. So there is a property called record ID. It's automatically get, just like that in the Aura component we have a property that record ID. It's also property over there. Whenever we are using that form inside any record detail page, then we have a property over there, record ID. Similarly, the record ID is also available up here. So what you have to do is you have to just write @API record ID. So it will automatically inherit the, it will automatically get the record ID whenever we bind to it at any component, at any object. It will bind at any object. If we bind our component, it automatically get the current record ID in the record ID variable. I just need to use this record ID variable with this record ID variable here, so it will become dynamic. So it's a property of that it's a property of the Aura and LWC that we can get the current record ID in the record ID field. In the record ID field, we can get the current record ID in the record ID field via making just a field in the Salesforce. Just create a field, and it will do automatically that thing. So not behaving. At that API I added. Spelling is correct. Yes, correct. It's showing the hardcode value. I'm not sure why it's showing hardcode. Let's remove the hardcode things, and it's still, how can it still showing the hardcode? Still getting from the cache. It's not updating the component. That seems strange that it's not updating the component. Let's do logout and relog in. Now it's populating the values. So that moment it's not updating, and that's why it's not showing. So what are we do? Just put the record ID over up here, and so just at we just need to create an attribute with the annotation @API. With the annotation @API, we need to create an attribute whose name is record ID, and it's automatically get the current record ID from the detail page, and we can use that current record ID at any place. So just like that, I use the current record ID over up here, so it's showing the current record ID. Now I'm just going to utilize this current record ID to fetch all the related contacts. Since it has 2 contacts, so it will show 2 contacts over up here, so that we can make changes in those 2 contacts. So for that, what we need to do that, since we again need to fetch the details from the Salesforce, so we need to create a component. We need to create a controller. So let's create a controller, Apex controller. Create Apex class and hit here my ideas example controller. Okay, I just add it and put it in the default folder. Now it's created up here. Now let's create a method just like that. Just like I told yesterday that we need to whenever we are creating any method that is used inside the LWC component, that at moment we need to create Aura enabled method, and that method must be private, public, static, and catchable true. Okay, and we need to get the method name is get related contacts, and in that I will pass the account ID. Okay, so I will get the related contacts, and that in the related contacts I will pass the account ID and get the related contacts. So return type must be list of contact, and let's do return. ID comma name comma first name comma last name comma email comma phone from contact where account ID equal to this account ID. Let's deploy this. Error, what's the error? Missing semicolon at, okay. Okay, it's deployed. Now I need to use this controller method inside my LDS. So for that, as I told you yesterday, just we need to import that method. So I just copy that method from this and paste up here and make changes just like that. It should have say my LDS controller. Let's copy this, and method name is get related contacts. Just copy that and just okay. Now we can use the wired property to get the records as soon as the component loaded. So for using the wired property, just copy paste what we have discussed earlier. Just copy it. And here is our earliest example. Let's paste up here. Instead of get contacts, it become get related contacts, and this will be same. It's an optional thing, no issue in that. Let's create a attribute. Okay, and we can add this all related contact over up here. So let's just log that field in order to see that it's fetching up details or not. But yeah, but we know one more thing that we forget here. It's accept account ID as a parameter. So we need to pass that parameter inside our wired function. So for that, we just need to, just like that, we just like in here in the last we have learned that how we pass the parameter. We have a method name, and in that method name we are passing as a curly braces. Then we pass the name from the Apex controller, and this is from the LWC. This is from the Apex, this is from the LWC. Similarly, we just use the same thing here with in the wired. It's just change that we have to pass the method name, comma, and then curly, in the curly braces we need to define. So for that, what is the variable name? It's account ID. So I will add up here, and here it's become curly braces dollar record ID. we need to pass in this way. It's okay, we need to pass in this way here, and let's save and deploy. But here you can see that we are not passing the dollar and something like that, because it's used inside that inside some of the method. But here here it is work as asynchronous way. That's why we have to pass in a dollar and then you know that it is working in async, because it's making request to a server, it's making a request to the server, and it's also getting a value from the parent component. So might be it has some difference. So at that moment what we have to do, that we just have to just put in inverted commas and then dollar and then record ID, so it will get the value of that. So let's have a look up here. Yeah, now it's showing me a contact list, 2 contacts related to that, and it's showing that values in the logs. Now I need to bind that contact list with our LWC LDS form. Now we are getting the contact list here, or we can also use directly here. It's no issue in that. So let's bind that variable to this here. So in this here, what we need, that we just need the ID, nothing more, nothing less. We just need the ID of that field. So and what we have to do, that we have to do that in a loop. So let's create a template, just like earlier what we have discussed about the template, that it has a for each. Where is that? And we have this variable data dot data, and we created contact, and first attribute we need to add a key, so we can use and we also need to, this is the important thing, because we are using it inside the for each, so that is the important thing. But since we have to also pass the record ID over up here, so let's pass the record ID, and record ID will also be the same contact. No, it's not updated. No. Let's do log out and log in. Okay, now it's showing. I don't know why it's means when it's not updating, so I just need to log out and log in. Okay, now it's showing we can update any of the 2 contact records. So from here, and so just like that. We can use that, whatever the two contracts, you can see that here it's also coming up here, and we can make changes and it will reflect it up here, just like that. Suppose I hit update, it will not, because we haven't handled this handle success, we got handle success and all those things, we haven't do that, so it's not showing up here. Let's open this record and it will show. No, I think it's updated. Whenever I'm making changes, it's reflected over up here. Let's can see that, because it's a LWC, so it's sorry, it's a recorded form, so whenever we are making changes, it's automatically reflected, just like that. You can see that I hit update, so it will also get updated. You can see changes are reflecting. So this is the way that how the LDS is working. Whenever we are making changes, it's got reflected. So now we can do that handle success method over up here, handle edit handle success, we can do anything. So it's a thing that work, we can do that. But the how we are using that LWC, it's using this way. And how we are using that recorded form, then in this way we are using the recorded form. We are using recorded form only when we need to customize, or just like that. We can customize over up here, means if we add that fields, all the fields are present up with either in editable mode or in view mode. But in the if we are using the recorded form, we have an option that we can use either the edit mode or in the view mode, just like that. Account ID, which we are passing the field, I make it output field, so that's why it's showing as a non-editable mode, but other things are showing in an editable mode. Similarly, I just make that first name also to be an output field, so it will show in a non-editable mode, and we can edit only the last name and email field. So that is the functionality. Means if we want to do some more customization apart from the record form, then we have to use the record edit form, because record edit form gives some flexibility that we can use the customization over up here. And only for that, means if you need to, if we just like that, now I can't update the first name, but I could do update the last name. So that is the thing, that if I use the record, if I use the output field, then it will only for the available for the to read only mode, means it's changed into the read only mode. And if I use the input field, it will show all the it will show in a editable mode. So that is the thing that it's making here. And let's make a separator over up here. Actually, it looks sticky to each other, so I just want to make it separate from one to another. It's not doing. Then again, I need to do login, but it's okay. It's just a UI thing. You have to learn about the functionality. I need to do logout and relog in. So it's okay. But yeah, the concept is only the thing is that what we can do up here, that if we pass the record ID, it will do that thing. If we don't pass the record ID, then it will only insert that record inside the Salesforce. Okay, so that is the about the LDS used in the Lightning Web Components, means LWC. That is the way how the LDS is working in the LWC. Okay, let me if you guys have any question. Yeah.
Sorry, maybe you already explained that one, but probably I missed. What does LDS stand for?
Lightning Data Service.
Data Service. It's a kind of LWC?
No. Lightning Data Service is a service that provided that you can easily update or insert a record without writing any Apex code.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, then let's have a break up. Few minutes break, 10 minutes break. We will come back to. Okay. So that's, let's move to the next. Now we are going to discuss about that how to pass the value from parent component to child component. Yeah. Or child component to parent component. Okay. So let's have a create a little component for that. Like create a new component. I'm going to create a new component called parent component. Okay. Again, I'm going to create a new component called child.
It's not
Create lighting.
it's
Yeah.
not data binding, right? Or it's just import. Is it related to data binding? Passing values from parent to child, child to parent.
Yeah, it's also related to data binding.
Okay, so we'll do data binding actually.
Now, data binding is a different thing, but it's a kind of. Once data binding, it's a thing that whenever you are using the variable in here and
Yeah.
use that variable up here,
It's
just like my first var, it's a data binding up here.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of data binding, but we can't say that data binding to passing the value. We're just passing the value from parent to child, parent component to child component. Or we can say, you can say that it's a data binding.
By the way, I remember there was a question asked to Ata why
What?
LWC is one-way data binding, but Aura is two-way. I think it was something like this.
Yeah, because the Aura is using the value provider and there is no value provider here.
When you say value provider, what's that mean?
In Aura, when we're binding the data, we're using V.
Yeah.
V dot variable length. That V is a value provider. That helps to bind the data in a two-way direction. But in the LWC, we don't have any kind of a value provider. That's the one thing that I know. Apart from that, I haven't researched over that, but that's the thing, because the in the Aura there is a value provider that helps to bind the value in the two ways.
Isn't it disadvantage in LWC because it seems like
No.
two-way data binding is better, isn't it? Better technology.
Yeah, it's a better, but also everything has a merits and demerits. Everything has a merits and demerits. Due to that two-way binding of that LWC, it's go outside the boundaries. Means it's usually means then if you use the similar names, and so it will go outside the boundary of that DOM. Sometimes I have seen that the variable it's go outside the boundary and outside the boundary of that thing due to the two-way binding. It's also reflecting the values at another component too.
What's that mean?
So,
being out of the boundary?
Out of the boundary, you remember that last time I discussed about that DOM. This is a boundary for this component. Means this is whole thing is a boundary for the component.
Yes. But how does it go to out of the boundary? Because of
that
length or
because of the two-way binding. Means if I make changes from here, it all the variables got reflected if it had the same attribute name.
Okay, got it.
So if I changing at one place, all the parent, child, and everything got reflected on that name with that values.
Understood. Okay.
And if I make changes in the child, and it also affect the parent also, if it is a two-way, means that's a issue. Means that's a two-way binding means if I make changes in the child with the same attribute, then it also affect the parent. So might be that is the issue. Sometime I get the issue. I don't want to. If I make changes in the child, it will also reflect on the parent, because at that time the values are going outside that boundary, because means we are passing values from child to parent. That's correct. That's we are inherited, means we are doing that thing, but child also affect the parent thing. It's a different thing, means it's a, because the child values are going, it's outside its boundary. When we declare that child component inside the parent component, that it means that we are defining that we are defining the boundary of a child inside the parent. But when any value is going outside the, means from child to parent, means when we are making changes in the child component, it's also affecting the parent. It means that the values are going outside the boundary of a child component. So that is the issue. Might be it will help us to understand that.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
So let's see that how, first let's see how the one-way binding it's here. I think we discussed, but let's revise that thing. We discussed, I think we discussed that two-way binding and one-way binding. Means I think we discussed in the previous classes that how the one-way binding is working. So before that, let's take an example of that thing. Input field. I create an input field. A text type input field. Let's create a text type input field. Just copy everything. Right. So I use the text type, and I also need to make the background white. Let's put a lightning card in that. Let's first have a look at MetaXML. I forgot to use them. Take a look at MetaXML. Let's make changes in the MetaXML file. The first thing, whenever you are creating a component, the first thing is that just make changes in the MetaXML file. Okay, make it true. Let's give the name. It's a no, parent component. This is the demo component for parent child relationship. Okay, save it. Save it, and then what is that? Parent component.jsf. Save it and deploy to the, or where is my child component? Let's also have a look at its meta.xml. Just copy this meta.xml from here, go to child, paste the meta. It's giving me some error. What happened? XML file has an issue. No. Deploy. XML file is having issue and it's not showing me that. What is the issue? Let's control. I think parent component name is already present here. That's why it's not let me to create. Let's have a look at that. Might be in Aura component I created the parent component. Let's have a look. Open that in the source. No, there is no parent component. Okay, yeah. We have a parent and child component. That's why it's showing me error over up here. Let's delete this. Yeah. Okay, we also need to delete this. Okay, let's create another parent LWC component in default directory, and let's also create a child LWC C component. Okay, let's have a look at the XML file. Let's refresh it. XML file. Let's copy the XML file from here and paste it here. What's that? What happened? Copied. True. Instead of best component. Parent WC component. Save. So every time whenever you are just creating a new component, your first job is to just make changes in the meta XML file and do the deployment. Just deploy that thing. The first thing is that whenever you are creating a new component, just make changes in the meta XML file and deploy that. So that you can know that if there is any duplicate component present or no. So it's deployed, no issue. Let's also deploy our child component. Since it is a child component, so their expose is optional. It's become optional. Either we can expose it, either we not, because it's going to be used inside the parent component. If parent component is exposed, so there is no need to make it child component to be exposed. So I just make it false, child component. And since it is not exposing, so this is an, if you write up here, no issue. If you don't write, then also no issue, since it is a false. So no issue in that. Just deploy it to production. Sorry, just deploy it to org. Once it's deployed, now we are ready to go further. So let's first create a lightning card so that it will show the white background as it will show blue background. I'm using lightning card just for the using the standard functionality. We can also use the styles over up here to make the background white, but I'm usually don't want to use the custom CSS over up here. Just want to use the all the standard things that are available. So that's why. Okay, so I created a parent component. In that parent component, I want to use here, that input field. And I also want to use the property, some of the property from the card. that I want to use that. Yes. I'm reviewing the p tag to take back. And save it and deploy it. Okay, it's done. Let's have a look up here. Let's add that to our page, my LWC component app page. Let's edit and add it here. Or we just drag and drop up here and add our component here. Where is our parental LWC component? I added it and save it and hit back. So I created this component. This is the input field that I use. It's a check value that you can see. Actually, that's why I want to use the means a card, because it has pretty good look that whenever you are trying to build, it looks good. That's why I'm using this cards, because I want to add the button. If I don't use the card, then it will take more efforts to design some UI. So instead of using that, instead of putting some effort, just use the already built components. So this is the thing that let's see the output. And SLDS. So if it is a aura, if it is a aura, then whenever I make changes, it will automatically reflect up here. Whenever I make changes, it automatically reflect up here. But since it is not a aura, it is a one-way binding. So means it is one-way binding means that whenever I make changes from the JS, then it will only reflected up here. Suppose I just make a initial value INITIAL. Yeah, it's showing me initial value. since it is binded. So I just whenever I try to pass the value from the JS, it's showing that thing. But in the Aura, if I make changes up here, it will automatically reflect it here. But it is not happening up here because it's a one-way binding. And for this parent component, if you look more deeply, if you look more and do more deeply in the, so for this parent component, this input will act as a child component. Correct? For this parent component, this input will act as a child component, and it's a standard component, means it's a standard component. So usually the people does not know that, means usually people does not believe that, but it's a standard component and it's act as a child component. It's also a child component, no issue in that. It's also a child component, and we are making changes over up here, but it's not reflected up here because it is a one-way binding. So what we have to do that whenever we have to pass a value from the child component to parent component, we have to design an event. So let's make an event over up here. For event, so because the concept is always same, that's why I'm explaining in this way. Concept will always same. That's change. There is an event called on change, and we pass, and in this on change event, let's declare on change event on input change. Event target, I think target dot value, event target dot value, and we will pass this dot input text is equal to event dot target dot value. Save this and just pass this to here. Okay, so we need, what we have to do that we need to bind an event called on change event over up here, right? So that whenever we are making changes, it also get reflected over up here. Yeah, so for this parent component, this input element is also act as a child component, and for that, for getting a value from the child component, means if the child component want to pass the value to the parent component, he has to design an event. He has to act like an event. He has to create an event, and that event will fire a method inside a parent component, and that will help us to change the value of a parent component. Yeah, got it? Means a child component will fire an event, and we capture that event. And extract the value from that event, and then use that value inside our input text, so that it's a text or a variable which is declared in the parent component, and then we can get the value from a child component to a parent component. Similarly, this is just out of box thing, so it is out of box functionality available up here, because on change is an out of box method available on the input Lightning input. Similarly, since we are designing our child component, so in order to pass the value, let's just the same way, just like we are passing the value from child to parent, from parent to child, we just have to, from whenever we are just passing the value from parent to child, we just have to declare, we just have to pass in a simple way, that we have to just pass the variable name. But if we have to pass the value from child to parent, we have to declare an event. For that, we have to design an event, and on the basis of that event, the parent will get affected. So let's have a look at how it's working. So let's put an HR over up here. Now let's let's bind our child component. For binding a child component, we have to use C dash child. All the capital gets smaller, means since in our child component we have a child, capital L WC capital C component, so we have to use a child dash each capital will become smaller, and this thing is known as, I think, kebab case. Yes, just let me check. Camel case is the means start with small and capital. Pascal case is start with capital, and snake case is the every capital letter is replaced with underscore, and kebab case is every capital is replaced with hyphen. Okay, so these are the four cases are available means usually in the development. So we have a camel case, we have a Pascal case, we have a snake case, and we have a kebab case. So lightning component use the kebab case. So every capital is replaced with a hyphen. So it become LWC dash. Again, capital is a component. So we put the dash and then add component. Right. And then save, control should be deploy. Now let's make some changes over up here. So it will looks like hi from, or let's bind a card. Yeah, now child component is showing up here. Let's remove the HR. HR is not looks good. So I bind the child component, it's showing the child component, no issue in that, it's showing correctly. Now I need to pass a value from parent to child. So let's declare that so as I told you earlier that whenever I have to take a value from the parent component, I need to use a @API annotation. So let's use the @API and then declare the variable name. Let's say the variable name is parent value. Okay. I need to also declare the API up here. And let's bind the parent here. I binded that value. Okay, now I need to pass the value to the child component. For passing the value to the child component, I need to go up here, and from here, since I declared the value called parent value as the API, so I need to pass it here, parent value equal to then a value which I need to pass. Suppose I need to pass input text, so I will pass it here. Since LWC is work on the kebab case, so every capital will become a smaller. So let's put a hyphen and become a V. Let's have a look up here. Okay, so since initial value I declared in the parent, so all the initial value are going up here. Now I'm making changes. Okay, I'm making changes in the on making changes in input field. On input field, on change event fire, it makes changes. It makes changes in input text, and input text since bind to that our child component. So child component accept that value and make changes according to that child component. So it's a kind of thing that whenever I make changes up here, it doing changes, the same thing changes, it's appear in all of the child components via this way. Now this is the way that how we pass the value from a parent to child component. What we have to do that we just have to declare a variable with annotation at the rate API and that variable name, and we need to bind that variable name with in the parent with the child component in the same way, and pass the value from a child pass the value from the parent to the child component. Now let's look at the reverse thing, because this thing is a very easy thing we can do we can do easily, but the reverse thing means passing the value from the child to parent. It's difficult because we are going beyond its boundaries, so that's why it's difficult to do that. So just like that, here in the input field, if you have to pass the value from input to the means to the parent, so it has to declare an event, means we have to take a help of an event. Similarly, we have to declare a custom event inside our child component and take a help of that event to get the value. So let's have a look at that how we declare the event. So for that, let's declare an event, and I need to have a look at the syntax. Child to parent and LWC, or we can also take a look at Aura component library that recorded. Please take a, because it's an important topic, so take a look. Means please keep in mind that it's an important topic. Passing the value it's an important topic, so have a look at it. Let's okay, so for that we need to declare an event. So let's go to that. For passing the value, for reverting the value, let's first create an input field over up here. So let's copy the things from the parent. I need to do a separator. Is SLDS provide any separator? SCP file separator. Sorry, select any separator. CPERA does not provide any separator. So let's build a custom separator. Inspect. Border dash bottom. Okay. Let's put that. Okay, so we are at input field, enter some text in child component. Child, yes. Input child text. I'm just making changes in the UI. So
Siraj, what question can become from here? This is pure coding knowledge.
no, it's not pure coding. Concept. The thing is that
Okay.
how to pass the values and all this thing.
So you need to explain the code.
Concept, yeah. Concept actually remains same, that we need to create an event to pass the value from the child to parent.
Yeah.
So first let's work on the child thing. Handle on input change. The same thing that we have done up here. First, we need to declare a variable input text in the JS file. Let's declare a variable init child text. And see, everything is working. Thereafter, we'll pass the first. I'm preparing that child itself is using the same thing. Okay, it's making changes. Similarly, I just created a child thing, so it will making changes in the child component. These are things are related to the child component, and these are things are related to parent component. In order to separate it, I'm just providing custom CSS so that its UI look like different.
Siraj, do we need to know different type of events name?
No,
Only on change is the critical one, the important one.
no, there is so many things.
Yeah, but when they say, well, how do you do parent to child data?
So
Fine.
actually, it's a custom event, so you can say any name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, currently I'm just separating the parent to the child because its UI looks much mix up to each other. So I'm just separating the things to parent to child,
I
so
thought
that it will.
on change is the keyword, but it can be a random name, you said?
Yeah, it can be random name,
So
but on is a important thing. On the random name. Okay, there must be a random name, but yeah, it's not applying. I'm not sure. It's not applying. Wow. Okay, these values are okay. These are related to the child and these are related to the parent. Now, whenever I'm making changes, parent component, the child component also get the value, and since I'm making up here, but I want to reflect that value to be shown up here. So for that, I need to make an event. So for making an event, let's have a look at how we create an event. So we need to create an event inside the child component and use that event over up here. So let's create an event inside the child component. Where is here it is. Right. Yep, here. So let's come up here. So this is here, just here we are creating an event. So we are declaring an event and this is our event name. Yeah, on means that can be any name. This is a custom event that we are declaring up here. This is our custom name and we are just creating an event over up here and we just dispatch that event so that parent will catch that event and do the changes. So let's have a look at how this is working. First, and this is a very means this is an optional thing, means let's pass it blank. We are passing it blank, nothing we are passing. And on progress change, let change its name and let say value change. Okay, value change and change value change, and then we are dispatching that event, and we are dispatching that event whenever the input has changed. So input, whenever we are changing an input, we are just dispatching that event. So let's call this inside this one, this dot handle change, and spelling is different. Handle, or we can say, instead of writing handle, we can write as handle child to parent. Okay, so what we are doing, that we just creating an event, we are creating a custom event, and that we are creating a custom event, and this is the way how to pass the value. But right now we are just capturing the event. After that we will pass the value. First we capture the event. So whatever that, whenever the input change, it will throw a custom event over up here, and this is the way the child will what will do that. Similarly, as I told us earlier, that input field also we are creating an event, so that whenever the value is changed, it will throw an event, and that event is captured on its parent component. Similarly, that this is the same thing on with the input field we have learned. So similarly, we have created a custom lightning web a custom child component. So that's why we have to create a custom event and custom name for that event, and we need to capture that event inside our parent event. So let's capture this event. So capturing that event, we need to go up here, and here we have to rig on, and then event name that we have custom event that we have created, and then curly braces, and then here we have to pass the uh, uh, handle child event. Okay, and we are coming up here and we pass up here. So whenever this event fire, what will we do? It will fire this, it will execute this method, and this method has let's put a console log over up here so that it will, you can see that event is fired. So we can see that its event is fired, event is captured from child component. So I'm making changes. So whenever I'm making changes, you can see that event is captured from the child event. It means that whenever I'm making changes here, it's fire that event. Whenever I'm making changes in the here, it will fire that event, and that event get captured up in the parent component. I captured that event in the parent component and it's working fine. Now I need to pass the value from child to parent. So passing the value, we have a predefined format. There is nothing we have to change. We have a predefined format called detail. In that detail, we need to pass the value. Suppose I need to pass this, what is this? Child is this value. So I need to use this one and pass it here. Save it. And in order to capture, I think it's event dot something like that. Let's first deploy this one. Deploy the child one. Child one get deployed, and for getting the value, it's event dot event dot detail. Okay. So I can see that whenever I'm making changes, it's captured in the parent and showing me the value. Now I need to use that value over up here. Let's create okay. Let's bind to it's our HTML file child value. Okay. It's showing value from child. Or I need to put the it's not showing value from child component. It's not showing. Okay. Okay. Now it's what are my making changes? It already affected the parent component. So in this way, we are passing the value from child to parent. Whenever we are making changes in the child, it also affected to the parent component. For that, what we have to design the event. So what we have learned today, we have so okay, what we have learned today, I'm just summarizing everything. So what we have learned today, we have discussed that how to use the LDS inside the inside the Lightning Web Component, means LWC, how we can use LDS in LWC. So LDS is the thing that without writing Apex code, how we insert or update any record inside the Salesforce. So for using the LDS, we have three things are available. One is record form, second is record edit form, and record view form. Record form is usually used whenever we have either we have a predefined sets of fields, or we have to update all the fields at one moment. Then we have to use the record edit form, and if we pass the ID in the record edit form, that it will update, else it will insert the record if we don't pass any ID in the record form. One more thing is that we have no control over the fields, means we have no control over the field. Suppose some of the field I want to be make it editable, and some of the field I don't want to be editable. At that moment, there is no control over the on the record edit form, but it's still it inherits the permissions. All the permissions are still available uh, on the record form. So since it has a limitation that we have no control over the forms, over the fields, so that's why we use the record edit form, which provides us more flexibility, that we can more control over the output form, or more control over the fields that we are displaying on the record edit form. So either we can display the fields, or we can either we make the fields only read only, or we can make the fields in a editable mode. Okay, the thing is that only the thing this in this on, and one more thing, we can also have a flexibility that we can show only one button, because whenever we have using the record form, it showed two buttons, handle save and handle cancel, but here it is only we can only show one button, two buttons, or many more button. On the basis of functionality, we can also add a button called reset button. Whenever you click on the user click on that reset thing, it will all the whenever user click on that reset button, all the values get reset. Means these things we can do up here. Means it provides such a flexibility to do all those things. And and we have also learned that thing that without where is our yep, we also knows the thing, where it is. We also know that the thing that there is a dynamic way to get the field names. There is a dynamic way to get the field names on the basis of schema. It helps us to get the field names, and it's usually helping us that suppose in the backend someone had changed the field name. At that moment, we have also that at that moment what we have to do, that we have to also make changes inside the Aura component. So since it is a dynamic, so we can since if we make it a dynamic, then there is no need to make changes up here. It will automatically make changes here too. And we have also learned that how to pass the parameters using the void functionality, because previously we learned that how to pass the values in imperative apex call. Means that handle thing is called as imperative apex call, but this is how to pass the value, that whenever the component loads, and at the same moment if we need to pass the value, then we have to use this format. Means in the inverted commas and dollar, and thereafter we have to pass the variable name. We use the variable name with the API annotation. It's only due to the fact that whenever we have to take a value from the parent component, at that moment we have to use the API annotation, so that it will get the value from the parent component. Since this LDS form is we are going to use inside that record page, inside the record page, so record page will become a parent for that, and record page have a inbuilt functionality that if you declare @API record ID, means any of the record page, all of the record pages have the same functionality, that if we declare inside our component, if we declare that @API record ID, then that record ID variable automatically gets the current record ID, and on the basis of that functionality, we capture the current account ID and do the request to the Apex and get the contact list and do whatever we want on the basis of that thing. Okay, this is about the LDS, and thereafter we move to talk about that parent-child communication. How the parent-child communication help between in the LWC. That as we have seen that if we have an input field, and if we need to pass the value from the JS to the input field, it's a quite easy. We just have to declare the value and it will automatically pass the value to the input field. But reverse is not true. Means if input field has to pass some values to inside the JS, at that moment he was not able, it will not able to capture that input field. For that we need to take a help of an event. Event can be anything. Event can be on change event, on key press event, on any event can be means the input field, this is out of box input field, so that it has so many events available up here, so there is no issue. I just use the on change event for that.
And on change event will execute a method inside the parent component, and on the basis of that method I can get the value from the whatever the value changing inside the input field. The thing is that the concept is that whenever we are making changes in the child component, if we want to capture that value to the parent component, then at that moment we need to design a custom, that moment we need to design a event over, we need to take a help of an event. So since the out of box field means since it's standard component, so it has some standard event that we have take a help and capture the values. But we have also take a look that if we are designing a custom child component, at that moment we can easily pass the value by declaring the variable, and variable should be at the API and variable should be at the API annotation, so that we'll capture the value from the parent. Once it captured the value, we can do anything, but the reverse is not true. Again, it's a because if you have child has to pass some values to the parent component, at that moment he has to take a help of an event. So since it's a custom component, so we have to design a custom event for that, and custom event name for that. So we have to design a custom event name, and whenever that and we have to design custom event and dispatch that event. And in order to capture that custom event, what we have to write, that we have to write first on, and then the event name what we have declared earlier, means we have to just write the on, and then we have to write the custom event name over up here, and that whenever that event occurs, it will fire our parent event. Means whenever that child fire the event, it will execute our event that is belongs to our parent, and that parent will capture that details from the child and do the functionality. So in this way we are working, means whenever we have to pass the value from parent to child, we have to just declare the value at the API, but whenever we have to pass the value from child to parent, at that moment we have to take an help of a event. So that is totally all about.
Very good summary, man. Thank you so much, Suraj. You remind me out of topic, something out of topic. I would say there was a YouTube video. Somebody was taking an interview, but he was moving his lips. In the background, somebody else was talking. Anyways, this was funny. I have another question. LDS can be in the interview, right? They can ask.
Yeah, they can.
It
can be in, and it's absolutely it will can be in interview. They ask the question related to LDS.
I think this week we may have like maybe almost 20-30 questions can be generated from LWC. Too many questions can come. Because mostly they will ask LWC, and it's gonna show our technical level, right?
Yeah, just
today was good class. Thank you for good summary.
Suraj, I have a question. Couple questions. First, I don't know if you seen my message. There are two questions we didn't cover from the list of 45 questions. If you can cover them for us, please.
It is platform events. We already discussed about the platform events.
What about 37? The difference?
Different data change events are more. We haven't discussed about that thing because data change events are the different thing. Means it's just recently introduced in the Salesforce. Means they introduced the Salesforce because it's means whenever while working with the platform events, what the issue is that we have to design a custom event whenever the data changes. Means whenever the data changes, we have to design a trigger that will fire the platform events to capture. But while working with the data change events, it's an automatic thing. It's an automatic thing, but the limitation is that it will only, I think it's a 5 object per org. Let's say data. It's also similar to might be this object does not have. this org. Its only limitation that it's data change event in Salesforce. Sorry, change data capture. Sorry, you spell it wrong. It's called as change data capture. Yeah, change data capture. So it's a thing that whenever the data is changing, means whenever the data changing means either it's created, updated, or deleted or undeleted from the system, these objects will automatically get notified. So it's an automatic process. Means we don't need to write a custom platform event for that. It's an out of box thing. It just recently in the previous release it's launched, previous or before that previous event, previous release, they launched the change data capture. It's a and what it will do that it will just it will capture the events, means it will capture the created, updated, or deleted events and show the notifications. That's it. Means it's only that thing. Means it's a standard thing, but in the case of a platform events, it's more powerful than this change data capture. Means we can define that platform events to work with. We can define the platform events to. We can define the platform events to means more. It's platform events just like more custom way. Means if you have to just show that event to be updated or pass the value, means this kind of thing. Means custom events are more custom way. Means platform events are more custom that it will be used and it will we have to design trigger for capturing the events. But custom data change data capture is a more standard way. Means whenever any changes occurs, it will throw the notifications, and that's it.
So the preference is to use platform event, right?
Preference, it's not about the preference, it's about the usability. Means it's about the how to use. Means if we can use the change data capture for that, it's no issue. There is no issue if we use the change data. It's more about that at what moment we need to use that. And suppose I need to, whenever the record is deleted, only that moment I need to use the platform event. So why should I use a change data capture? Because it's already it will do for all the events. Means whenever the record is created, updated, deleted, or and it means all the event will have. Okay, so these kind of things. When suppose on the change of suppose on the change of account, I want to send the details of a contact record. That is also weird. So at that moment, this will not help. This means this will not help. Means it will send the details only of the account record. But at the moment, means suppose whenever we have it's just like that. When it's a out of box thing, means it's out of box available, and we have to do more functionality that is not available in the change data capture. Then we have to move to the platform events.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And another question to you, is that possible to have a class that will cover possible scenarios and questions for LWC?
We already discussed everything.
Like a recap, because I know that some guys are going to interview this week and we will be going probably soon too. As we had those previous class lectures with the question answer, like possible scenarios and possible questions.
Suraj, maybe on Friday we can go over like a kind of recap from like all LWC and maybe Aura possible interview questions, just to take a better note.
Okay.
I know you are covering, but it's gonna be a kind of review, and maybe you can tell us some scenarios as well.
Okay.
Is it too much to ask?
No, it's okay.
Maybe 1 hour. We will see if we have time on Friday.
Yeah, if you have time.
During the class, not out of the class, like 2 hours lecture, right? 1 hour we can continue with the subject, 1 hour review.
Okay.
If we have time, yeah. Cool, thank you.
Thank you, Suraj.
Okay.
Suraj, can we talk after the class?
I will.
Yeah, sure.
I will stay.
Yeah.
We all then stay.
Okay, we are here. What is
I
it?
count them. You can put them in waiting room.
Okay, thank you, Suraj.
Thanks. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Vahdet abi sor.